Today I'm going to be going over an updated version of my Kalguuran map farming strat. It's a strat that is fairly cheap and can be ran on regular 8 modded maps. It has sort of survived the loot nerfs, but just like every other strat out there, it is still feeling it a bit. It does not utilize risk scarabs or multitudes, and if you do this strategy right, you'll be getting around 3, maybe 4 tier 16.5s and 17s per map. I made a video on this last league, but it's received some changes since then, and the overall state of loot this league is so wildly different that the entire state of endgame is sort of unrecognizable in comparison. Nobody knows what still works and what drops the loot, so my plan is to test out a whole bunch of strategies, compare them, and find out where the loot is this league. I'll go over absolutely everything about the strat, including the changes made, the Atlas tree, the ways to efficiently run it, and everything will be in this Google Docs as always, so consider subscribing if you have not. So the strat revolves around Kalguuran map farming. What is that? It is a strategy that focuses on spawning magic mobs with this Gilded Riches scarab, adding as many ores as you can with the Kalguuran scarabs and the Settlers mapcraft, which actually got buffed this league. It adds an additional ore now for only 2 chaos, and then you kill all the mobs from the ores for maps, since that's what those mobs drop the best. You of course run it with an escalation scarab too, to boost the map drops. You want to run this strat on Dune, either 8 mod corrupted tier 16s or 16.5s rolled with 100% more maps. I did both and we'll go over the results of both in a little bit, but they were both fairly good. We run Dune because it drops the fortress, which is like half a divine right now. I previously said to run Jungle Valley last league, but circumstances have changed. 16.5s right now, especially the favoured ones, are not as expensive as they were, and Fortress has such a massive price gap on all of the other tier 17s that you kind of have to run a map that drops the Fortress. Anyway, you clear the map, picking up the bismuth ore if you see it, and collecting the best altars on the way. The best altars are map duplication chance, then chance to drop chaos, then item quantity, and then chance to drop any good scarabs. Once you've cleared the map and picked up bismuth, you go back and you clear the ores and do the breach. Previously, the strategy was ran with a Riscara, but due to the overall state of loot and the current prices of them, they're like 20 chaos on the low end. I've seen them go for 25 at times. The Riscara isn't as good in this strategy as it's been in the past, and it was more worthwhile to go for the Hordes setup, mainly due to the fact that getting guaranteed Scarab and Chaos drops from red altars is incredible this league with the balanced state of loot, and double dipping for item quantity and map dupe chance is great too. What makes this strat so good this league is that it mainly utilises scarabs that won't ever balloon too crazily in price, with the current scarab setup costing 6 chaos right now. It also doubles as an ore farming and Savalin hunting strat, with Savalin being worth like 40 divines, and it's one of the few league mechanics that actually benefits from Breach instead of being massively nerfed by it. For anyone who doesn't know, Fortress and Defend A-Lift breach encounters are deleting your mobs. If you're juicing for all flames, stacked decks, multitude packs, or whatever, and you get one of those breach encounters bang in the middle of your map, half of your loot is gone. It even deletes calcification essence mobs, which is extremely bad. But Settlers is largely unaffected by this, and the breach explosion itself scales pretty decently with more maps. I definitely got a few fortresses from it, so it is worth it to run. As for running the ores, and this is important, the two main ores you want are bismuth to boost the loot in your whole map, and the crimson ore, which is the ore that drops the most maps. You can also get verisium to increase your chance at Savalin. I went with that. I found like 5 starfall craters, never got Savalin. The ore that spawns a bunch of pods, crimson ore, they spawn mobs, and when you kill around half of the pods, the rest will bloom, spawning even more mobs, and that's where the bulk of your maps will come from. You want to isolate a few of the pods and kill them straight away, and then run around the remaining bloomed pods to spawn the new set of mobs, and then clear the encounter. This is much easier to do if you have a build with worse clear, funnily enough. I'll go over the tree right now. I'm missing a few passives, but it didn't impact it too much. I ran this tree for both the 8 modded version and the 16.5 version, with one little node unallocated for the 8 modded. You want to grab as much map chance as possible, so we essentially take every single map node on the tree. You take the ore chance down here because again we want as much ore as possible, and the ore chance up here. I did not take lost in transit. You probably should because of the state of loot. Anything that guarantees loot, chests, anything like that is great. So I regret not taking this at all. We also take this over here. Again, chance for 2 ore deposits, anything that gets more. We take red altars. I did do the 16.5s with blue altars. I regret that too. I just wanted to see what it would be like, but with the state of loot getting, raw chaos, raw scarabs, raw anything, and then still having the chance for quantity of maps is incredible. So we of course take that. If you have an extra point, get that. We take quantity, we take all the map chance here. Up here, we obviously take this node. You inspect that. If you're running 8 mod corrupted, we increase the chance for corrupted growths, bismuth, and verisium. This node right here, and that is about the tree. We obviously take the map modifier effect. A lot of people forget to take this up here. Just remember this is map modifier effect. You should always be taking this little node right here, and then these two will increase the chance for memory influenced maps. This tree will be in the description down below if you want to follow it. Now on to the loot made. I've just made a quick docs on the loot that I've linked to through my main Google Docs here. From now on, every time I do a strat, I'm going to update the strat here to link to one of these loot breakdowns right here. It should look like this. It will just quickly show the important loot gotten, the profit per map, investment used, and then it will link to a Wealthy Excel screenshot at the time. My goal is to make this document here as comprehensive as possible, so any extra information I can provide for any strategy will be provided here. This is a copy of the Google Docs because the one I've linked to you guys is constantly lagging because so many people are using it, which I guess is a cool problem to have. Before I go through the loot real quickly, I will also say that I had the single worst build for this strategy. My Wonders Clear was too good, so I couldn't get any mileage out of the corrupted ores, which means that what you're seeing is the low end. It is essentially gimped loot. With a more suitable build, loot would be higher on both. For the 8 modded version, it was 14 chaos investment per map, and I made 50 chaos profit per map, 16 fortress drops, 15 originator map drops, and around 6 divines and other currency. Fairly good for a regular tier 16 farm in a poverty league, although I do think I high rolled on the fortress drops. For the 16.5s, I actually got less profit per map, but that is because I massively low rolled my luck. I dropped around 500 maps in total, which was like double of what I dropped in the 8 modded maps, which is enough to get a tier 17 per map average before any map duplication and before double drops, yet 9 of my maps didn't drop a fortress, even though I reached more than 50 maps dropped in all of them. So I low rolled pretty heavily and should have expected like an extra 7 to 10 or so fortresses, but that's what can happen. It's not a guaranteed drop. You can get bad luck like this. In the end, I pretty much averaged the exact same 50 chaos profit per map, but I believe that should be much higher on this side, like 70 or 80 chaos profit per map if you get average luck. So don't look at this and come to the conclusion that 8 modded is better, because I believe that it isn't. But half a divine profit per map with both versions, with the one on the right getting closer to 80 chaos profit per map if you have a more suitable build, if you run red altars and if you don't low roll your luck, is pretty good considering the league that we are in. And that's the video. Again, as always, everything from Atlas trees to this Google Doc showing all of these strategies will be in the description. And my next video will probably be another map farming video, since I want to put out some easy and simple strategies to build your currency, since so many people are struggling right now. My goal is to usually find new strats, but there wasn't much added this update, and with Breach griefing like half of the endgame strategies, it's really hard to find something new that's also good. So I'm instead going to focus on trying to optimize certain strats and find where the loot currently exists. If you appreciate the video, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next.